I moved the camera. We be live. Hello.
Hello.
Going live from a different angle. I was looking at the camera, like, where's the camera? It's like right there. Hi guys, we're gonna be covering the news on religion and secularism and Islamic nonsense, like usual. It's mostly Islam today. Let me see. First news is
Yeah.
Islam. It's all Islam today, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, today's Full House Islamic. Yeah, Islamic nonsense related news. So yeah, Susie, which countries are we covering today?
We are covering well, our first story is it covers many places in Europe, and then we also have Iran, Nigeria, Pakistan, and Germany.
Okay. And is the news today mostly tragic, mostly hopeful, mostly wholesome, ridiculous, uplifting? What do you
It's a mix. I would say, we have quite a few that are a little rough, but that's how the world is sometimes. But it's still going to be interesting, nonetheless, because
Oh yeah, and
there are
guys,
some very important events that happened that we have to talk about.
tell us where you're watching from. People are already telling us where they're watching from, which is great. I didn't even ask, and people are already doing that. Zaid is watching from Jordan. Thank you
We've
so
trained
much
them well.
We have yes, Space Leah from Sweden. Oh, D is here. D is saying people are wishing each other Happy New Year in the live chat. Angry Keyboard Warrior from New York. Christopher from Seattle. I don't know how to read this. Ermitao from Brazil, and Eliza from Israel. And yeah, so Nasrin is here.
Speaking of Israel, we have Roy here, and also
Hi, Roy.
Gnome gave us a 6 shekel super chat saying, "Title got me very intrigued. Here's your jizya, by the way."
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and we also have Mike. Hi, Mike from Wales on the live chat on Twitch. Guys, don't forget that you can go watch us and follow us on Twitch. Oh, and Sid Dave also just threw us a super chat. Thank you, saying Happy New Year to Atheist Republic. I am in Halifax. Hey, we got another Canadian up here.
Yeah,
I gotta keep watch on our northern border. I'm so stupid.
No, this is good.
And I have some exciting news, you guys. Not only is it a new year, not only is this the first episode of 2024, but Armin, do you remember what makes this episode special?
Oh yeah, yeah. Again, this is why you're the CEO, because I don't notice these things. This is, I mean, should I say it? You noticed this, so you should say it.
Okay, guys, this is the 300th episode of the Atheist Republic news show.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Space Leo knew this before you even said it. How did you know that, Space Leo? Amazing.
Well, I made it because, the really good members keep up with us on our community tab, where I have been providing insightful updates on our organization.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, guys, this is a very special episode. We have done 300 episodes of this show, of this podcast, and it is so special. We would not be here if it was not for our community, because obviously it is our community, our global godless community that makes this possible. And of course, a lot of credit needs to go to Armin, because Armin is the one who has been here for all 300 episodes.
Oh yeah, you're right. I have been. Thank you for thank you. This is why you're the CEO. Guys, this is why Susie is the CEO. I would never be able to know these things, recognize these things, celebrate these things. This is why she's the face of Atheist Republic, because she's the people person here. I just I'm too nerdy for this stuff, but thank you. Thank you.
No, but seriously, because I only joined in 2020, and I can't remember what episode we were on at that time, but I've only been here for like probably maybe half, maybe less. And so really it's been Armin that's been carrying the show for 300 episodes, and I think he deserves some celebration for it. So thank you, Mars. Yeah. And I love what we do. I'm proud of what we do. It is because of this show that I ended up becoming involved with Atheist Republic as an organization, because I loved to learn. I love to learn more about the world, stay informed, and also like learn about stories that you don't hear about very often on the mainstream media.
Don't do that. And I'm like, oh my god, I don't like people making fun of mainstream. Guys,
I'm kidding. I did that because it would bother you.
I know.
Just a little bit of to get the show started. I had to ruin the moment for Armin. But yeah, all that aside, me being ridiculous aside, I am genuinely really glad to be here, and I'm proud of what we do, Armin, and I'm proud of what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, Atheist Republic has never been better because of you. So seriously, like, you know that. So I don't need to. People know that. We've been growing so much faster, and people are, people have been recognizing how much better we've been ever since you joined. And, people keep reminding me about how much we need you. So, yeah. But
I know it's crazy. In May, I will be here for 4 years, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, coming up on 4 years soon. Damn.
Yes.
And I'm getting old, guys.
Okay, we got another super chat from Noman saying, "Happy New Year, my Atheist Republic family." 300. Yes.
Thank you
so much, Noman. Thank you, Noman.
Thank you, my
friend. We do need to get into the news. So let's get into the news. Okay.
We can do that.
Is the first news clappable?
Well, yeah, these people got apprehended. We can clap for that.
Nice. Okay. First news.
Hamas terror ring busted in Germany and the Netherlands. In a significant counterterrorism operation, authorities in Germany and the Netherlands have dismantled a Hamas terror ring, leading to the arrest of 4 men suspected of planning attacks on Jewish institutions across Europe. German prosecutors revealed that the suspects associated with Hamas's military wing were seeking weapons for potential attacks. Key details include the arrests of 3 men in Berlin and 1 in Rotterdam on December 14th, linked to Khalil Hamid al-Khazra, Haraz, a senior figure in Hamas's military branch. The German Federal Prosecutor's Office disclosed that one suspect, Abdelhamid Al-A, is just how he's identified, had been tasked since early 2023 to locate a hidden weapons cache in Europe. The plot was unearthed amidst the heightened tensions following Hamas's assault against Israel last October. Additionally, Danish authorities arrested 3 individuals on separate terrorism charges believed to be connected to Hamas. So that makes it 7 in total. This operation underscores the ongoing threat posed by terrorist groups in Europe, with the German prosecutor stating, quote, "The weapons were due to be taken to Berlin and kept in a state of readiness in view of the potential terrorist attacks against Jewish institutions in Europe." Zayd is saying, funny how there's no mention of this in Arabic media. Well, people are already coming forward and calling it just propaganda. So I'm not surprised by that at all. Oh, Archer saying Egyptian living in Saudi, stand with Israel. Oh, hi, Archer. Thank you for joining. So
be careful.
Archer. Seriously. Yeah, be careful. So this was very interesting to me, and I thought this was worthy of being covered because we don't usually cover these kinds of operations. But it seemed like it was definitely worthy of being covered, especially given the potential targets of the attack. So there isn't a ton of information about this available in English. Like, this first came out, I think, about a week and a half ago, and there hasn't been many updates on it since. But what we know is that there are 7 individuals who were arrested. The original 4 that I mentioned were said to be quote unquote long-standing members of Hamas, which makes me have questions. If you know that they are long-standing members of Hamas, how did you let them in your country to begin with? I have questions. And then these other individuals who were arrested on separate charges in Denmark, I think were just maybe assisting, like connected, but not actually members themselves. The details are not entirely clear. And I guess for the sake of it, we should say, these are all alleged, blah, blah, blah. These people will face, trial and all those things, So we're working off of the information available to us right now. And so my understanding is that this was, again, my understanding is that this was part of a plot that had existed actually before these attacks kicked off. So basically that one of these people was sent into Europe last spring to go look for and try to locate this a hidden cache of weapons, a hidden batch of weapons somewhere, and to go get them and put them in a state of readiness. And then because of the heightened tensions since October, then this is when authorities like uncovered these things or went into action to go track down these men. With it looking like they were going to actually go attack Jewish institutions or Israeli citizens abroad. Dia saying anti-terror agencies are very busy. It certainly seems that way. They stay employed. But Armin, what's your reaction to this?
Wait, what, can you say one more time? What exactly were they trying to do? Like, what was their plan?
So my understanding was that they were trying to find like a hidden batch of weapons that were somewhere. And there were like a hidden batch of weapons stowed somewhere. They were tasked with going to go find these weapons. They were looking for them.
For what goal?
And tasked with finding them and then putting them in a quote unquote state of readiness. And then potentially attacking Jewish institutions and Israeli embassies, etc., around Europe.
Why is this? A lot of people in the live chat are saying that this is not on Israel's media, Swedish media, like UK media. People in live chat are saying, why is this not getting that much coverage? This is a big deal, it seems to me, at least.
I don't know. I first heard about this in The Guardian. Technically, I think that's UK media. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. And Marge is saying, what kind of weapons are we talking about?
It's not clear. The details were not reported in English media, at least. Because, again, remember that this first came out in Germany and the Netherlands and then Denmark. So perhaps media in those languages has more details. But in English, I basically told you what we know so far.
As Hamas gets destroyed in Gaza, I wonder if they're going to go more international, like brand, going for a brand recognition more than land, like going from a government or a state more towards an Al-Qaeda kind of operation. You know what I mean? Like less ISIS, more Al-Qaeda, more international brand recognition by doing terrorist plots. I wonder if that's going to be their evolution. What do you think?
That's a possibility because our lovely editor D provided this example of a reaction on Twitter. Wait, scroll right up there. We go to that one. And this person is saying, it's a lie worthy of Israel's ridiculous propaganda. Hamas is a resistance movement whose aim is to fight Israeli occupation of the Gaza Strip. Hamas as refugees in Germany would be a self-contradiction. Pathetic. And then just basically calling this something to be completely dismissed and propaganda. But like people don't remember that part of Hamas's central ideology is an expansionist Islamist ideology. So if they were successful, this would go beyond the Gaza Strip. And people also need to know that groups like this are willing and sometimes very eager to internationalize their movement, bring it to their front door. And we've seen many instances of the Palestinian cause, quote unquote, capital P, capital C, being brought to the front door of many nations, like plane hijackings, suicide bombings. I mean, the list goes on. So, we got a bunch of
Wait.
Oh, something else?
Yeah, I just want to note that the person who's saying this, this is their defending Hamas. This is their profile picture. So
I also noticed that. It's a very sexy photo of Selena Gomez.
It's just the weird times that we live in.
I know. I was looking at the article and I clicked on it. And I was like, "That's a lot of thigh for what's going on here."
Yeah. I also want to point out that this goes among a pile of other evidence that we have that Hamas is generally anti-Jewish rather than a freedom fighting force. This is not about Palestinian freedom. This is about and this confirms Zionism. When you show, why are you know what? For a group that is trying to get Jews out of Israel, I think it doesn't make sense to attack Jews that are outside of Israel, right? Like, isn't that what you want? Wouldn't
you should also send that message to the Islamic Republic of Iran, please?
No, I mean, wouldn't, like, you want Jews out of Israel, and you're targeting Jews out of Israel? Wouldn't that kind of confirm that Jews need Israel? Okay. Given that they're not safe anywhere, I mean, you're making them safe outside of Israel, making a case for why we need Israel. So, I don't know. Doesn't this backfire? This methodology kind of backfire? Aren't you confirming Zionism by doing this? I don't know. It's just,
you know what? Funny how that works. Yeah.
Right.
You're like, oh yeah, to prove that this state is completely illegitimate, let's go attack Jewish institutions across Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
God. Okay,
we got a couple super chats. Here's one from
we got
John.
Another super chat. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this. The shekels saying, "No, Armin, it confirms that it's not about Zionism." I think that's sarcastic.
No, I mean, it's true. It's not about Zionism. It's about anti-Jewish hatred. You're right. Yes.
Yeah. And Nasrin Jun sent us a super chat saying, "Congratulations on the 300." Thank you, Nasrin. We have a super chat by Sid saying, the Palestinian cause is very genuine, but I feel sad that they lost their homeland. But the Islamic appropriation of this cause gives it a bad name. Oh, I mean, it completely destroys it. It's actually like more self-destructive. The Islamist flavor, and then combined with the historical leftist communist flavor, has utterly destroyed its own efficiency and efficacy.
And also, I don't think the Palestinian. What do you mean by the Palestinian cause? Because when you say they lost their homeland, I don't think that Palestinian cause is genuine. It could have been genuine before, when the Arab countries attacked Israel, and because of that, a lot of Palestinians lost their home. At that point, that was genuine to want to gain that back somehow, maybe politically, but it's not genuine anymore. That's history. We have new realities on the ground right now. Okay, so that if by Palestinian cause you mean regaining the part that is now called Israel, that is not a genuine cause. if by Palestinian cause you mean getting a Palestinian state, where in areas that is called Palestine, that is a genuine cause. But getting back the parts that are called Israel and that is not a genuine cause. No, that is not a genuine cause. Yeah. So it depends on what you mean by what the Palestinian cause is. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he's saying not Israel. I mean, getting their own Palestinian state today.
Okay. Yes, that is a genuine cause. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that is a genuine cause that I would support, and that's why I'm anti. One of the many reasons why I'm against Hamas, because Hamas doesn't want that.
And Netanyahu. Both major roadblocks in that goal. Sid Dave also said the West has allowed its refugee and asylum policy to be abused. Islamists and Khalistanis have taken advantage of it, feign persecution, and get asylum. Yeah, see, this is part of the refugee process that I need a better understanding of, because there are people that are politically persecuted, but like they are genuinely politically persecuted, but then also they are not good candidates to come to a new country because their cause is ultimately dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, remember that is she Norwegian? What's her name? Sabana, is her last name Khan? The friend of yours who died from cancer recently, who was the comedian who lifted the mullah Karakau, and then she lifted you on stage.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. Oh okay. Yeah. Yes.
You remember who I'm talking about now? I know her first name was Sabana, but I can't remember her last name. And so she became famous for that incident where she went and lifted this mullah on stage because he was like accused of being a terrorist by, I can't remember if it was Afghans or Iraqis. But he was seeking asylum. I believe it was in Norway. But given his own narrative, it was like, oh, well, I was politically persecuted. It's like, well, maybe you were politically persecuted because you're a freaking terrorist. So,
we'll do it.
We need better filters and also a better system for, hey, if you're not a good candidate, we're getting you out of here.
Right. By the way, before we go to the next news, I have to show this to appreciate all the people who are giving us super chats, because we're not even we haven't even started the stream and we already got demonetized. And I just want to thank all the people who are giving us super chats to make up for the fact that our streams often get demonetized. By the way, let me request a review for this, because we haven't said anything bad. We're like fighting bad ideas and radicalism. We're not encouraging them.
Also, we're literally just reporting on the news of what happened recently. Yeah, Unicorn is saying already. My thoughts exactly. Already?
Yeah. By the way, guys, even if this appeal works and we get monetized, it's often too late. It's by the time the live stream has already gained most of its audience, and once we get our monetization back, it's not as after most people have already watched the live stream. So this is like really hurts us financially. So I really, really appreciate all the people who use the super chat option to make up for the fact that our streams get demonetized. Yeah.
Bull McLeod is saying they saw Susanna was in this one. Exactly. They have it out for me because I've been going a little too spacey lately. Like, we need to put this girl away.
By the way, we got 3 more super chats just right now, which makes us again not have to work. By the way, we're not going to censor our vocabulary anymore. We're going to use naughty words because no matter how much we try to play by YouTube's rules, we get demonetized anyways. And you guys are already using so many super chats that just makes up for the fact that we're getting demonetized. So we don't care. We're just going to use the dirty words from now on. But Susie, do you want to read all these other super chats that we just got?
Speaking of, like, all the support we're getting is literally why we can keep doing this, especially given that we just got demonetized. X Matrix just gave us 70, technically 69. Nice. Shekels. I had to take that moment. Saying thank you for being on the sane and informed side of history. Well, thank you for supporting Atheist Republic. Queen Nick gave us 20 pounds. Thank you, Queen. Very generous. Saying, hail Lord Armin and Lady Susanna. Hail yourself. Happy New Year. I feel that 2024 is going to be a scary year for the West with all the Islamic invaders. How do I send video links to you guys that might be of interest for your content? Hugs. Well, okay. Invaders, I have to say, is a bit of an inflammatory word. We are not literally being invaded. Okay. The south of Israel was invaded. The rest of Europe is not facing invasion. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. That word has a meaning. But in general, how do you send video links to you guys that might be of interest for our content? So we have a news channel, on our Discord. Link is in the description. You can join our Discord, and then we have a channel called News Suggestions. And the News Suggestions is the perfect way, because I go check things every week for if you think there's something that we should cover, to put it on my radar. So yeah, link is in the description. Join our Discord, and you can send these to the News Suggestions channel, and then we will check it out. Okay. Wow, we got a lot of super chats. Thank you, guys. Roy, thank you for the 15 shekels, saying you might say that you can understand the Palestinians' frustrations, not the cause. Also, Armin's haircut. Armin's haircut does look very nice. And in general, I agree with your statement. Of course, everyone is going to probably refer to a different thing when they mean the Palestinian cause. When I refer to it, I mean the movement that wants, from the river to the sea. That's what I mean when I say capital P, capital C, Palestinian cause. Other people could mean the cause for statehood, that kind of thing. So, it's always good to ask people what they mean with the terms that they use, so we don't make assumptions and we can better steel man their arguments. You know what I'm saying? GJ, thank you, GJ, saying fight for Palestine and Islam proxy war, too simple. At this point in time, given the influence of the Islamic Republic, I think we could say this, but we shouldn't prescribe it for all time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, we could still fight for Palestine. The people who are using Palestinians as a way for their own proxy war, they're not technically fighting for Palestine. They're using Palestine as an excuse. And they want Palestinians to suffer because their suffering is helping their Islamic proxy war. So technically, it's unfortunate for the Palestinian people that fighting for Palestine has become to mean that. So we shouldn't encourage it. We should try to separate that. We should the people who fight for Palestinians the best way, they also support Israel. So we should separate this idea, the way that a lot of Islamists are using Palestinian suffering as a way for their own agenda. We should separate that from people who genuinely and actually care about Palestinians. We shouldn't try to make them seem like they're the same thing. We shouldn't say that they're the same thing. We should say some people have tried to make it the same thing, and we should try to separate those two ourselves.
Perfectly said, Armin. I love that.
Thank you.
Bull McLeod said, more for the naughty word jar. Thank you. Thank you for putting the change in our swear jar for us.
Thank you.
Cleo said, Cologne Cathedral was a target. They got caught. I'm assuming you're referring to the last news about the Hamas ring that was busted in Germany. I didn't see that reported in any English media. It mainly just highlighted Jewish institutions. But if maybe you know more information that I don't, but that's just asterisks for everyone else. Ion gave us 40 rupees. Thank you, Ion, saying cheers for demonetization. You know what? It's an honor at this point. And Benny gave us a super chat. Thank you so much. Saying congratulations on 300. So glad I found you and can be in your community. Aw. I look up to both of you so much and I'm so thankful for you. This means a lot to me. Thank you. And Sid is asking a question, saying, Armin, when was the last time you genuinely prayed to Allah? Do you still celebrate any Islamic festivals culturally? Do you sacrifice a goat on Ramadan?
Genuinely, more than 20 years ago, probably, like 22 years ago. That was the last time. Do you still celebrate any Islamic festivals? No. I mean, I didn't even celebrate. I mean, technically, I never celebrated any Islamic festivals because I was a Shia. Most of the so-called celebrations were crying. I mean, technically, at the end of Ramadan, you're celebrating something. I don't know. Like in Iran, you mostly celebrate Persian holidays.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Not Islamic ones. You know, the Islamic ones are for wearing black and crying and hitting your chest and stuff. Yeah, stuff. So yeah.
For pain. For blood and pain.
Do you sacrifice a goat on Ramadan? No, I've never have done that. I might do one for the devil soon at some point, but yeah, but not further. Yeah, no, I have not.
Did you ever do Ramadan with your family? Because your family was only like very nominally religious to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, not with my family. The school had programs. The school had like where we go eat. I mean, I like the eating food part at the end of the day. That was, and the food had a lot of programs for that. Oh, and then also during Ashura, there's a lot of food related stuff. I didn't think that was celebrating anything. I was just like, oh my God, great food. I'm just going to go eat food. I didn't think like it was a celebration. I was just like, you give me free food, I will eat it. There's go. That's as far. I don't consider that a celebration. I just consider that eating good food.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of anger in the Iranian population because a lot of people are struggling with the cost of living crisis that is on a different level. And like just to buy pasta, let alone meat. And then when Ashura comes around, the government is like giving out tons and tons and tons of free meat to people that attend. And people find it so insulting because I remember every year videos are coming out of people walking down the sidewalk, filming all of the places where they're just giving away all this food. And it's like, but you don't give a crap about the rest of us during the rest of the year. But if you bribe us with food to go to these government-sponsored religious events, then we get cared for by the state.
Now that, thanks for calling me out, Susie. Now, I used to eat that food. I wouldn't do that anymore. Right now, especially outside of Iran, they use these giving out free food to show how people support the Islamic ideology. So as good as the food smells right now, if I see the Islamic Republic or any religious related Islamic food giving, I would not go eat that because they film the long lines as a way to show that there's a approval of their ideology. So I would not, as it's very difficult because it does smell really, really good, but I will not go and stand. I will not stand in that line. I will not be used like that. So yeah. Okay.
Hey, you know what? 1, it was a different time. 2, you were a kid. And 3, it was over 20 years ago. So
yes. Yeah.
Benny is celebrating his membership. Thank you, Benny, saying yay for no more censoring lingo. We'd love to see it. And that's a reminder, guys. If you love our show, if you want to keep this show going, if you want to keep it strong and the quality that you love and appreciate, please consider becoming a member. One of the best ways to support the show is to become a member on YouTube, which you can do by hitting the join button down below, or in the description, you can also become a monthly donor, which helps us a lot via PayPal. So thank you to everyone that supports the show. It really makes it possible. The Kandik, I don't know how to pronounce this, gave us a super chat saying, how much of the current conflict ought we attribute to the parties of God, meaning religious motivation, and how much to other motivations land, racism, tribalism, etc.?
Well, there's no way we could measure that, but I could tell you that without the religious motivation, this would have been resolved by now. I could have told. That's what I could tell you. Without the religion, I know it's all of these combined. It's not it's multifactorial. It's not one of them. It's religion, it's land, it's racism, it's tribalism, it's all of those things and a lot of the other things. But I could almost guarantee it that without the religion, it would have been resolved by now. And I know this based on looking at other conflicts. Look at other conflicts, even worse conflicts than these, right? And they were eventually resolved. The religion makes it religion poisons it, right? Religion is not the only factor, but it makes it almost impossible to resolve.
Sid is saying, I think Islam is not something you can practice culturally, unlike Judaism, Hinduism, and even Christianity. Either you are all in or all out. I disagree because I know so many people that are very chill Muslims. Like, I genuinely know cultural Muslims personally.
Yes.
Like, this is part of their culture. It's what they do with their family. And then, but also they just, I don't know, live an ordinary life. I mean, one of my friends is married to a Jew. So, like, literally had a Jewish baby.
So, again, there's somebody, there's different views in this, and I'm not going to argue either way right now because that would be a big topic. But Ali Rizvi wrote a book called The Atheist Muslim, and he argues
I know him.
And he argues for, being able to just not believe in Islam and just be in it for the culture and the community and the rituals without the belief. So that might be a good book to read if you're interested in that. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, I work with Muslims, and they're some of the most hardcore. Well, I mean, it's more rare, but like very firm about the values of the West and like secularism and stuff. And they tell me, they're like, there's no place I would rather be a Muslim than in America because of the rights we have. So that, guys, there's a lot of different people in this world. There's a lot of variety. We can never completely generalize in absolutes. And Queen Nick gave us another super chat saying, sorry, I wasn't aware that word was inflammatory. Hey, no problem, Queen Nick.
Which word?
Absolutely.
Which word?
We're talking about an invasion.
Oh, no.
No problem at all. We just
it's
commentary. Good. Yeah,
No, it's not inflammatory at all. In fact, it gives us an excuse to talk about something. So don't
exactly. We just see it as an opportunity.
Yes, exactly. And thank you for the super chat. Yes, very cool, dude. Very cool, dude. Can we clap for the next news? Oh no! Holy crap!
We don't like this. We hate this.
Jeez. Okay. Well, next news.
Okay, next news. Iranian faces death penalty for insulting Islam. In Iran, 32-year-old Hassan Khalilzad faces the death penalty over online activities deemed to insult Islam. Zard, a motor courier from Galikesh working in Tehran, was detained by the IRGC's intelligence agents. Charged with insulting Islam, the Islamic Republic's leader, and blasphemy, his predicament stems from expressing frustrations about Iran on Instagram. A source close to Zard emphasizes the urgency and injustice of the situation. Quote, please don't let them commit their crime in silence before it's too late. The people of Iran should know for which imaginary crimes young people are being killed. Zard's arrest occurred during a visit to the prosecutor's office in Galikesh, seeking updates on his stolen motorcycle case. The source reflects on his plight, saying, quote, only God knows what awaits people like him who endure deprivation and suffering. So, here is the background on this case. There is this man, Hassan, and he's 32. He works basically doing motor deliveries around his town. And what happened was that his motorcycle was stolen. And so he went to the authorities to go ask him about the update on this case, maybe file some more information, see if they found anything. Basically, just doing what he has to do to try to get his job back, right? And when he went to go into the authorities' office, that's when they nabbed him and detained him, and they've accused him of blasphemy, essentially. I've seen different sources saying that there's different things that, so some just say general blasphemy, some say insult to Islam, some sources say like insult to Islamic sentiments or culture, and then some say that it's actually an insult to the prophet. So there's and we don't know what these alleged insults are, if there are any at all, if there even are any at all. So let's be clear. And the thing is that all of the things that he has been charged with so far, they carry the death penalty. So he is facing charges that carry the death penalty. As of the updates that I'm aware of so far, he has not been charged yet, but he has been imprisoned and tortured for a number of weeks now. And I mean, we don't have to say that this is horrible and completely insane and unjustified. But that's how easy it is for the Islamic Republic to come after you.
It's insane.
Yeah. And we need to talk about this on two levels. One, the level of there's a high probability that there is absolutely no credible evidence against him, because they will make up these charges against people all the time. One, because they believe that it will turn sympathies against the accused in the population. We've seen that actually doesn't work very well in Iran, especially over the past 2 years. But they also can literally just make up these charges against you because they know that they carry the death penalty just to get rid of you, right? And so, for example, what they did with a civilian protester, Javad Ruhi, was they accused him of burning a Quran in the middle of the Masa Amini uprising and attacking the police station. There's no evidence of any of this. Literally, we only have video footage of him dancing in the street in the middle of a protest. And they sentenced him to death for blasphemy, for desecration, over allegedly burning this Quran, where there's no evidence of. There was a court that actually acquitted him of this, and while the prosecutors were appealing his sentence, his ruling, he died under torture, right? Over this thing that there's this blasphemous thing that there's no evidence of. So that needs to be discussed on that first level, right? That there's a high probability that this is all BS. Okay, let's say that it actually is true. Let's say that he actually did do what they allege against him, which we have no evidence of so far. He shouldn't be murdered over it. Blasphemy is not a crime. There's no justification for murdering this man by hanging him to death so that he suffocates instead of snapping his neck, right? Because that's how they do it in Iran, lest we forget. For an insult, for an offense. Again, guys, this is not even reaching the level of desecration. This is not even reaching the level of destroying the Quran, which is, what most people think of as the most extreme. This is just mere insult to either a tradition or sentiments or actually to the prophet. It's not entirely clear, right? Blasphemy. And let's also remember that one of the charges is insult to the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, aka the Khosol, known as Khamenei. Because then when people think of this blasphemy, how could you insult the honor of our prophet, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not even reaching the level of destroying the Quran, which most people find the most offensive, right? Even if it was that, even if it did reach that level, there is no reason to take a man's life over some arbitrarily important pieces of paper. It's never going to be justified. Arbitrarily, easily reproducible pieces of paper.
Mm-hmm.
For offense, for honor, for insult. It's medieval. It's irregular. This is an abnormal state. And this is what I wish more people understood about dealing with the Islamic Republic of Iran and other nations that enforce these kinds of punishments. Is we are dealing with abnormal states instituting medieval style punishments. Because don't forget that the Islamic Republic literally implements eye for an eye. Where if you're involved with an incident between two civilians and someone gets blinded, you can be prosecuted and the state will now intervene to blind you, as has happened in the past. If you steal and get caught, the state will intervene to amputate your fingers. We covered a case of that not too long ago. This is an abnormal state and abnormal actors. So I want people to be aware of that when people talk about negotiations and normalizations of relationships and all that shit. Ooh, thank you for pulling that up, Armin.
Yeah, I'm actually going to post the link to this tweet I made a couple of days ago about this. So the link is now in the live chat. If you guys want to raise awareness about this, please go ahead, go to the link and retweet this. I do mention in my tweet that the more people speak out about him, the less likely he is to be executed. A lot of people make light of this and say it's not true, and the Islamic Republic in Iran will execute anyone they want regardless of the pressure. That is not true. Do not believe that. International pressure and social media campaigns have worked. We have seen them work. It doesn't work as much as we hope, but it has some effect. It doesn't have a lot of effect, but it has some effect. There has been times where it made a difference. We do see the Islamic Republic not executing people who are very famous and have a lot of support, even though they are much more problematic for the Islamic Republic. The level of attention they get and the level of fame that they have and the level of support they have on social media makes the Islamic Republic not kill some people because of the fear of the backlash. The power of the people is increasing in Iran relative to the government. And the Islamic Republic is afraid of its people. And that's why when there is mass support for a certain person, the chances of them being executed does get less. It does have an influence. It's not like they can do anything they want. They are afraid of the people. So you using these hashtags or just retweeting the tweet that I just posted for you has some small effect. It is small, but it is something. So if you can just spend a few seconds to go and retweet this or make your own, or just copy these hashtags and make your own tweet, whatever is more convenient. Yeah.
Farnaz is saying, not fingers, amputate hands. It's Sharia law. No, what the Islamic Republic does, we covered a case of this like less than a year ago. I mean, it's on a case-by-case basis, but what they were doing was they were going to amputate the fingers of a man who was caught and convicted for stealing. And then they said, this is so barbaric. This is so barbaric. Again, remember that this is done in a supposedly medical setting, a supposed medical setting, right? Was that, hey, we're going to amputate your fingers, okay? But if you can pay us if you can pay us, we will put your fingers on ice and then hire a surgeon to sew your fingers back on. If you can pay us.
They make money from it. So they're like, they cut your fingers off, and they were like, how could we make money from this? They're like, okay, we will cut your fingers, but if you pay us money, we will sew it back. And they have turned in the Quranic amputation into a money-making machine for them. Even then, it's unbelievable. Yeah,
it's so crazy. And again, this is supposedly a medical setting. And again, this is a man who was convicted for petty theft. You think he can afford to pay you the extortion money to get his fingers sewn back on after you amputated them? It's insane. And then not only that, well, I believe, if my memory is serving me correctly, the last case that we covered of that happened, he was not able to pay to get his fingers sewn back on. And even though this happened again in a quote unquote medical setting, he almost died due to fever and infection after they amputated his fingers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone in the live has just like, wow. Yeah, no, that's a real thing, guys, that happened like in the past year. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying these are not normal actors. This is medieval.
Okay.
I'm getting real heated. Crap.
Good. Yeah, no, you should. And thank you, you know, I think you add to, I think your frustration and your anger is so much needed in this live stream, because a lot of people want to express that, and when you do it, they, you know, a lot of people appreciate that, because you're channeling their frustrations. You know, they see your voice is just coming. It's just representative of what they want, other people want to say, but they can't. Oh, we got thank you, Queen. By the way, before we get look at the super chats, Queen said that she went and she or he went.
Thank you, Queen. Retreated. It means a lot. Like everyone that put even a little bit of light on these situations, it does make a difference. Because imagine if that was you or your brother, you would want people to tweet it, even if they thought it meant nothing. You know what I mean? So we have a few super chats. Rami Jun gave us some Turkish lira. Thank you. Saint Armin, an Iranian friend of mine in Iran, told me almost 80% are non-religious and don't support the regime, and only about 20% are devout religious Shia who support it. Is this true or over the top? The percentages are a little bit different, but it's pretty close.
No, it's less. I mean, we have scientific polls for this.
Yeah,
it's less than 20%. It's not over the top.
Well, less than 20%. What? Because the only thing is that this question is conflating two things. It's conflating being non-religious with not supporting the regime, and being religious with supporting the regime. And actually, it's not that simple. So in terms of people who are non-religious, what I remember correctly from the polls from Gunmen, the Gunmen Institute, is that it's roughly only 32% of the country are religious Shias. Many others have a vague belief in God or spirituality, but when asked about their specific beliefs, those beliefs are such that they squarely put them outside the fold of Islam, if that makes sense. And then I think I can't remember what the percentage was for self-declared atheists or non-religious, but the vast majority, only 32%, were actually could be fit as Shia, right?
Okay.
And then in terms of governmental support, it's like less than 20% that actually support the government.
Depends on what you mean. Well, this government or any Islamic government. So let me show you the numbers really quickly. So
we come ready with the stats.
Yeah, this is a scientific poll, by the way, right? So Shia Muslims are now 32% of Iran. So much less than what people think, right? Shia is 32%. If you
I
add
am
up all the
so
other,
proud that I remembered that percentage exactly, and I haven't looked at this in years. I'm sorry, I just had to brag.
yes. So if you add up all the Muslims together, it adds up to less than 50%, which means that Iran is now a Muslim minority country. It's not a Muslim majority country. Iran is a Muslim minority country, right? And if you look at this number here, around half of the country has left a religion. By the way, this is not a good translation. If you look at the Persian, they didn't go to non-religious, they went to no religion, right? So if you look at the Persian wording of the question, so around half of Iranians have went from being religious to going to having no religion at all within one generation, which is insane. This has never happened in the history of mankind ever, anywhere, with this large number of more than 80 million people in one generation just leaving religion has never happened anywhere in the world, and this is the first time. So with regards to support for the Islamic Republic, so this is a little bit misleading, because so you can see 33% of Iranians want a secular republic, 20% of them want a constitutional monarchy, 20% didn't answer or didn't know enough. So it says 22% want an Islamic republic, but you have to understand they want an Islamic republic, not necessarily this Islamic republic, because there are a lot of people in Iran who still want an Islamic republic, but not the current regime. They think like the current regime ruined the idea. Like they are so dissatisfied with, even though they support the idea of having an Islamic republic, they think the current regime ruined the reputation of having an Islamic republic. So yeah, 20%, around 20% want an Islamic republic. The highest number goes for a secular republic, which is and again, by the way, constitutional monarchists also want their constitutional monarchy to be secular. So this secular and this secular adds up together. They're all secular, right? So only 20%, only 22% of the people in the country want their government to be Islamic. And again, I would say a lot of these people don't want specifically this regime. Yeah. So there's that. Those are the numbers. What do you guys think about this?
One of the most recent Gunmen Institute polls had more detailed statistics asking questions about how you want the government to be, or how do you feel about the current government. And if you combined the people saying that you want a hard barandas versus and the people that wanted a soft barandas, meaning toppling or overthrow, then it was over 75%. I remember because I added up these numbers myself like last year.
Ooh. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So if we're talking about, like religious, it's like Shia religious, it's only 32%. And then on a separate question, how many people support the current government or do not have an opinion, because that's the other aspect of the poll, it was like less than 25%. Rami is saying, thank you guys. Great answer. Oh, thank you, Rami.
Yeah, well, thank you. I was trying to find that a number that you were talking about right away, but I'm not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, you're going to have to take my word for it.
Oh, here. Actually, let me show you this number right here. So what do you think of the following political leaders of Iran's modern history? So if you look at Ali Khamenei, which is the current supreme leader, you get 62% very unfavorable. So 62%, and you have someone unfavorable. So overall, like 66. So 66% of Iranians look at the current supreme leader of Iran as unfavorable, with most of them being very unfavorable. Yeah. So there's that.
Oh, the support for Mossadegh was not as much as I thought it would be. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Interesante. Okay. Oh, shoot. We got a few more super chats. We got a super sticker from Sakai. Thank you, Sakai. GJ gives super chat saying, guys, you often describe Iran's hanging process quite graphically. YouTubers have woken up in the morning notified of 3 strikes against 3 of their videos, and their channels were deleted for less. I disagree.
Yes.
Usually those are situations where they violated a different terms of service.
Yeah. They have to agree with it or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Neeker Breaker gave us a super chat. Thank you, saying if you're not on Twitter, AR has a bot on Mastodon. I have no idea what this means.
If you're not on Twitter, AR has a bot on Mastodon. I don't know either.
Okay, well, we have a cryptic
But
message. Thank you for the super chat.
Thanks
And
for the
Queen Nick just gave us a super chat. Thank you. Saying, did you hear that the UK is the top country for female hymen reconstruction for the Islamic world? It's shocking and disgusting. Youngest was 10 years old. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow. Yeah, they need legislation against that. They definitely need legislation against that. I'm pretty sure France banned those kinds of procedures. And as they should. Are
you hitting at the table? I'm hearing a lot of boom boom sounds.
Oh, I think I might be bumping my mic, sorry. Okay. Oh, and we just got another super chat. We got 30 shekels saying from Noah. Thank you, Noah. Oh. Noah is saying Iranians helped my father and his family escape from Iraq to Israel in 1965. I will always be grateful to Iranians, and I wish that one day I can return the favor to them for saving my family. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Noah, for sharing that story. I like that.
I like the cute puppy face you make when you get emotional. It's very adorable. Thank you. Did we cover everything? Yes, we did. All right, so can we clap for the next news now? Have we gone over the non-clappable news? Oh no, this is bad. Do we have any clappable news after this? Yes, we do. Okay.
We get there.
Right.
We get there.
We'll get there. Okay. I want to clap. Okay. Hold on.
I know. I understand.
All right. You do? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Next news.
Next news. Terror on Christmas Eve. Gunmen's deadly assault in Nigeria leaves over 150 dead. So this is a huge thing that happened recently, and it's really important that we talk about it. The Christmas season in Nigeria was marred by a horrific armed attack in central Nigeria, resulting in over 160 fatalities and over 300 injuries. On December 23rd and 24th, assailants targeted 21 villages in Plateau State, predominantly Christian communities, leaving a trail of death, injury, and destruction. The state governor, Caleb Muftwang, lamented the scale of the tragedy, saying, quote, "As I am talking to you, Mangu local government alone, we have buried 15 people. As of this morning in Bokos, we are counting not less than 100 corpses." The Plateau state government reported 96 deaths in Bokos and Barkin Ladi areas, with 221 houses burnt. While no group claimed responsibility, suspicion falls on the Fulani herders amidst long-standing religious and resource conflicts. The government faces criticism for its response, with Amnesty International's Isa Sanusi urging a thorough investigation, stating, quote, "It is really sad and unfortunate that these kinds of things continue to happen and the authorities cannot do anything apart from sympathizing with the victims." Despite promises of action from Nigerian military and political leaders, skepticism about government effectiveness persists. So, here's what we know about what happened. The death count from this attack is still not entirely clear. I have seen numbers ranging from 150, and we're talking about dead. We're not even talking about injured. Let's be clear. D is saying the body count is over 200 now. Yeah, because when I was researching this yesterday, the biggest number that I saw was 194. But I'm assuming that people are continuing to die from their injuries, and it's horrific. And so this means that 2023 ended with over 4,000 Christians being killed in Nigeria that year alone. Like, the attacks on Christians in Nigeria, like, are escalating on a different level. And yeah, some guy is saying at least 5,000. The most recent, no, he's saying 50,000. Over what period of time are you talking? Because from one Christian persecution tracker that I follow, they said that the number was 4,000 from the previous year. And so, excuse me. It's 50,000 Christians have been killed in the past 20 years. Holy crap. Like, and it's wild because I would have never really guessed that Nigeria is one of the most dangerous places to be a Christian. But the massacres against Christians in Nigeria are insane.
And it's half Christian.
Exactly. So people are attributing this so far to the Fulani herdsmen, and we covered a giant massacre committed by the Fulani, I think within the past year. This is an ongoing thing. This is a decades-long conflict between the predominantly Fulani Muslim herders and the predominantly Christian farmers. And they kind of like contend for land and resources and such. And my understanding is that a lot of the Fulani have essentially been co-opted by jihadist movements. And this horrific massacre occurred on New Year's Eve. And again, the body count just still continues to grow. And I was shocked by the lack of coverage of this, because unfortunately the news cycle means that we can really cover only one conflict at a time because people have a low attention span, let's be honest. And Zayda is saying, and yet no one mentions this because the victims are not Muslim in Israel and the Jews aren't involved. I hate to be that simplistic about this, but I feel like it basically breaks down that way. And also,
not nobody, but
let's also partially be honest and say that it breaks down this way also because this happened in Africa. And most people in the media in general kind of just go, oh, well, yeah, that's what happens over there. It's horrible. Darko, so it's interesting that the Vatican is not making diplomatic effort about this. The Vatican is in a really difficult spot because they have a lot of their clergy that get kidnapped in Nigeria. And so the Vatican actually does go to pretty great lengths to rescue their clergy that get kidnapped in Nigeria. And a lot of the kidnapping in Nigeria is motivated as an economy. And they do this to Christians literally as an economy because they know that they will get hostage money out of international Christian organizations. Yeah. And there's a lack of coverage and people don't care. And the government is not doing shit, basically. For the past 10 years, there were lots of people that were interviewed about this that I was reading. And basically they're saying for the past 10 years, rural Christians have just been completely left at the mercy of whoever will come attack them. It took the authorities over 12 hours to respond to one of the attacks on one of these villages. 21 villages attacked. And no one ever gets arrested. They keep on being like, oh yeah, with the full authority of the law, blah, blah, blah. Like, no one ever gets arrested. There's very little care to actually go prosecute these people. So, I don't know. It's just important to talk about it because I don't want people to forget that this happens. It deserves coverage. I don't know if you had anything else to add.
No, you covered it very well.
Yeah.
So, we got a super chat from Secular Sakai.
Oh, thank you, Sakai. Saying, our monthly PayPal donations still processing. Just want to make sure my 110 are still reaching you guys. P.S. Mastodon is a special decentralized social media platform. There might be a fake bot. Oh, meaning someone pretending to be us on Mastodon? Yeah,
Or
because
maybe just
we don't have
copying
an
our
account.
maybe just copying our tweets though.
Mm. But in terms of your PayPal donation, yes, they should still be processing. It depends on what time you signed up for that specific subscription, like when it actually gets charged. But last time I checked, yes, it was. And thank you so much for being so generous to us every month, Sakai. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. It literally saved us when you started it, and so thank you so much for supporting us, Secular Sakai. It's very, very generous. It's helping us continue doing our work, so I appreciate that. By the way, guys, our
And if
PayPal.
you guys want to also, yes, help us continue, link is in the description to help support the show. Thank you to everyone who's a monthly donor. It really makes sure that we can keep going, like no matter what. I set up our structure for that purpose.
Yes, if you guys want to prefer to use PayPal to support us, the link is in the description. So thank you for that. We got another super chat from Sid.
Oh, Sid, thank you, Sid, saying Islamo-Nazis are a threat to civilization. And this is what frustrates me, is that people, especially leftists, do not understand that Islamist movements are fascist movements. They don't understand that, or they're willfully ignorant to it because all they see are people who say that they're against imperialism, and that their analysis stops there. Like the postmodern influenced post-colonial mindset only goes so far as oppression is perpetrated by the West, and it stops there. It never considers oppression that occurs naturally within any given civilization. Literally, it's as if the entire discipline cannot comprehend that concept. So yeah, they don't understand that these are fascists.
Yeah.
Secular Sakai is saying Nigeria is aware that it is dangerously close to the Boko Haram war becoming an expanded civil war if they are not careful. And yet, I wonder about the response from the authorities. It seems woefully lacking.
We got another super chat.
Greg Smith, thank you, Greg, is saying 8 to 10 million Muslims convert to Christianity every year, many due to dreams and visions. Islam is dying, but Islamofascism is growing.
I don't know how these two are related.
Yeah. And also, what is the delta on that conversion rate? But
Islam is not dying. I would say
no.
Islam is actually growing as a religion.
Exactly.
So Islam is growing faster than Christianity. If anything, Christianity is doing most of the dying, I think. I mean, relative to Islam, at least.
I agree.
That's what the numbers show. Islam, unfortunately, is rising.
But if you had to quantify Islamism, I'd be very curious to see, how do you quantify that? And how do you quantify if it's growing? Yeah.
I mean, Islamism is just true Islam. That's what Islamism is. Is Islam taken to its logical conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Islamism is. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, tracking those attitudes on a large scale, I don't think is something that has been super. Okay. Oh, and we got another super chat. Wait, where did it go? Oh, yeah. Cleo, here we go. Cleo gave $5 saying, my friend was supporting the Houthis for disrupting the chain of commerce and taking actions to Israel. Not surprised they ignore Nigeria. These fucking idiots who are supporting the Houthis right now are literally supporting a movement that does the Roman salute because the Nazis did it. It literally says, curse the Jews in their motto on their fucking flag. It is a movement that brought back slavery to Yemen. So if people think that they're lefty and supporting these people for resistance and liberation, you can remind them to pull their head out of their asshole. Because just because these people have a darker skin tone than you does not make them sinless. Huh? So if you think that the Houthis are your new bad boy resistance boyfriends, I would like you to remind them that your badass resistance liberatory boyfriends are getting fucked up the ass by the Islamic Republic every single day of the week. How about that? They're sucking the dick of an old man, some old men in Qom, taking it all the way down. Okay? Because these people forget who's at the top of the food chain. And the answer is it's some 90-year-old, decrepit-looking crypt keeper mullahs in Qom. Okay? Seeing people celebrate the Houthis, I didn't think that I could hate these lefty types more than I already did. Well, October taught me some things, and then seeing them descend to the level of praising the Houthis when they have no idea the misery that they have wrought upon the Yemeni people, the disdain and disgust you showed towards the suffering of the Yemeni people, you were spitting on them. It is so fucking embarrassing. It is so fucking embarrassing. But these people have a revolutionary fetish. What this is to them is revolution porn. That's what this is to them. It excites them in a visceral, physical way. It's porn to them. This is porn to them in their ideology and what they believe in. This is a fetish. It excites them. It satisfies their desires. That's why they act this way. I want people to call it out. They see these deaths. They see Palestinian children being brainwashed into aspiring to become martyrs because of the strength of their resistance. At the end of the day, it's porn to them. And we should treat them with nothing but disgust and being reviled by them. That's what I think about that.
Well, damn. I don't think we're gonna get that monetization appeal, by the way, after that. But but that was great.
Clea was saying she teaches at a U.S. university. Well, where else would she fit in better? Where else would she fit in better?
Well, people really enjoyed that rant in the chat. And this is what we get when we don't worry about monetization anymore. So thank you. By the way, I just want to mention to you two at the part where you said like curse the J people. That's not our view. That's the Houthis' view. Susie was just expressing their disgusting views. So I just want to make sure that.
Yes.
But yeah.
See, yeah.
But the constant mention of porn and yeah. Go on.
Yeah. I did. Freaking.
That's good. It's okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. We got so many super chats that we don't have worry about.
Matters, you guys.
Yeah. It's okay.
Davey Boy say most of the alt-left support the far-right Houthis. See, this is the thing. See, the broke version, it's not very cool to say, Jewish power conspiracy like a freaking Nazi, saying Jewish power, like that's broke. You know what? And we're not gonna be broke. We're not broke boys, we're spoiled girlies. And spoiled girlies know that it's not Jewish power. That's so like 1930s. Okay. No. We're going to be woke. We're not going to be broke. We're going to be woke. And the woke version is that Jews are a colonizing, settling, white, colonial, oppressive, apartheid state force. And that not only that, but in America, they are a white oppressor class. Because Jewish power is broke, but we're woke. And woke people know that Jews are a white oppressor class. And they have too much control of our media. And yeah. So, but no, we're not Nazis because that's broke. Because at the top of the oppression pyramid, we have the first layer.
Okay. This is amazing. I could watch this all night. Yeah. Oh my god, this is something. Can you? Guys, you should do an entire stream like that, 2 hours.
On this side, we have Brooke, and then if you go up, and then you go all the way down to this side, it's almost shaped like this. It's almost shaped like a horseshoe. We have Brooke, and then we have woke. And broke. That sounds like so. It sounds like so gross.
No, people are appreciating this, right?
I'm losing my mind.
That's good. No, please, more of this. True.
Oh my god, we got some super chats.
We got so many of them.
Oh my god, thank you guys. This is what you get when I just go full unhinged. Sid Dave is saying the leftist ecosystem has given space to Islamists, Khalistanis who play identity politics to pursue their agenda. The left needs to introspect. You ain't gonna get any argument from me here. The problem is that the left is an Ouroboros that will constantly eat itself because it is ideologically required to continually eat itself, because as long as it is informed by postmodern theory, it is going to see any form of categorization as oppression. It is going to see it as hierarchy, as oppression. So any leader that rises through its ranks is going to be eaten by its own ideology, because as being a leader, there will be a hierarchy, which is oppression. So then they need to be brought down and crucified. And this is why leftist movements constantly fail. Yeah. So introspection, I'm not holding my breath. Sid Dave also gave us a $10 super chat. Thank you. He's saying, I also feel like calling all non-whites people of color to be a weird term. Leftists have grouped all ethnic groups against one group, white. Imagine if we had a category called non-black people. It is insane. It is insane. It is a uniquely American idea that has then been imposed, ironically imposed for people that are so anti-imperialist. It has been imposed upon the rest of the world. I went to a conference a few years ago, and it was when this conference, it was for contemplative neuroscience. And it was when this conference, literally the year that it became woke, and they started introducing all this terminology into the field for this conference. And there were people from all around the world representing their research in contemplative neuroscience. And they were doing there's a very typical, like the privilege relay. It's a kind of exercise you do to, you walk forward if you have this privilege, you walk back if you don't, this kind of thing. And there were all these people from outside of America, and they were talking about the exercise afterwards. And they're like, you keep on using this term people of color and all this stuff. This means nothing to me in my country. I'm not a person of color. This is not a construct in my country. But I come here and you're telling me that I have to belong in this construct, which is so ironic. And it is why a lot of these ideas informed by postmodernism actually recreate and perpetuate the very constructs in which they are trying to deconstruct, especially post-colonial theory, which is an incredible job of trying to, in the sake of trying to deconstruct the foil of East versus West, they actually reconstruct it and cast the East as more superstitious and anti-objective empiricism than ever before. Within different countries, they can have different ethnicities and different identities, sure. But people of color is a uniquely American idea, phenomenon, that imposes America's admittedly bizarre racial constructs upon the rest of the world. You want to talk about cultural imperialism? Yeah. It's also kind of, yeah. Not to mention, okay, we got a lot of super chats. Okay, first of all,
David, you know what? Hold on. You see, Susanna is stopping herself from saying more things because we have to read the other super chats. This is why she has so much more to say about this, and she's right now stopping herself. This is why I'm trying to get Susanna to have her own streams separate from the news, just talking about her ideas. So if you guys think that's a good idea, please tell her. Like, without me, just have her own stream at a different hour, separate from the time that I usually go live, just talking to you guys about these ideas. So please tell her that this would be a great show, just a Susie hour with you guys, So let her know, because she does get, if you guys tell her this is a good idea, she will start believing it, because I've been trying to convince her. So help me out with convincing her.
Zayd is saying Susanna's being that uncle that says I won't get political at dinner and then has a few drinks. My family has to keep a tight leash on me. I ain't gonna lie. We were at a party last night, and my boyfriend overheard a conversation I was having, and he just turned at me and he's like, "Oh, there she goes." David Mogan sent us a super sticker, $20 super sticker. Thank you, David. Wow. Monica saying that my Valley Girl accent is on point. Thank you, babe. Thanks, girly. And Nicole is saying, you mean the so-called progressive left when you say left? I mean the progressives, I mean the socialists, I mean the communists, the tankies. Yeah. All those.
Not the liberal left. Not the liberal left, just to be clear.
Yeah. But nowadays, actually, never mind. Greg gave us another super chat. Thank you, Greg. Saying in 1900, Africa was 1% Christian. Today, over 60%. If Islam is growing, why all the violence? I don't really understand what you're getting at here.
If Islam doing why all the way? In 1900s, Africa was 1% Christian. Today, over 60%. If Islam going why all the way? I don't understand the question. Looking at the level of
understand that large sections of Africa decolonized in the past century. That is going to cause a lot of violence.
Yeah, and also comparing the 1900s, where we didn't have this world liberal order, which stabilized most of the planet, to now, it's a false comparison. It was the level of violence overall was much higher back then, and it has reduced significantly because of the current liberal agreements and institutions and order that we have around the world. So it's not a good way to compare the level of violence back then to now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Sid gave us another super chat saying, I think young leftists in the West need to learn that white people are also ruled by non-whites like Arab rule in Spain, Italy, Mongol rule in Russia, Ukraine. I'm 100% sure that they will refuse to accept it. I agree. They will also make excuses. They will say that it's not the same. They will say that empires constructed by the quote unquote West by European forces are exceptional in one way or another. And in certain circumstances, they were. I'm not going to like argue otherwise, right? I'm not going to be a historical revisionist like they are. But yeah, no, that doesn't count. Why does it not count? You'll never get a consistent answer. But that does not count. And what's so funny is I was having a conversation with my boyfriend about this, and he was arguing with someone who took the mindset of basically, oh, you know, the people that were colonized by our country, you know, hundreds of years ago, they have a right to hate us and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, my country was like colonized, literally conquered by like Muslim and Arab invaders centuries ago. Does that give me a right to hate Arabs and Muslims? It's like, they're going to say, no, of course not. It's like, yeah, and I don't want to. They actually brought many beautiful things that shaped my culture. So I'm not going to like hate people to this day. That happened hundreds of years ago. The people nowadays had nothing to do with that. But yet these people will refuse to accept this. Little Bronzo in Kenya gave me a super chat and is now forcing me to follow through with my words. Fine. Saying, Susanna, please finish that sentence. Nowadays, the liberal left, I've just become very angry. So, you know, okay, I get heated, as is normal. So, you know, take everything with a grain of salt. But I just feel like with the attitude of the mainstream left nowadays, like that, especially being a classical liberal like myself, that basically stands like outside of the left at this point in time. It also kind of stands outside of the right. I think it's its own set of guiding principles.
I have given up on the whole left versus right, you know, classification. Or categorization, I should say. I now look at everything as liberal versus illiberal. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're up or if you're down. I look at it, you could be right and identify as being right-leaning and for liberalism. You could identify as being right-leaning and against and being illiberal. You could be identifying as left-leaning and being for liberalism, and you could identify as being left-leaning and being against liberalism. To me, what matters is whether or not you stand for liberal values. These days, that's all that matters to me. Or more all that matters.
These comments are so funny. Oh, Nasreen June give us another super chat. Thank you, saying you do Susie times great. Thank you. You're just watching me unravel on air.
No. Nasreen is basically, I think, supporting the idea of you doing your own Susie time.
Yes, I agree. Jean is saying that we need a Renting Susanna podcast. Yeah,
it's ranting, I think.
Yeah, ranting. Yeah. You're not wrong. I just need to actually start following through on that. I'll have more time soon. And CTV Blease, thank you for the super chat. Is saying, Susanna, you should debate Hassan Piker. You would absolutely destroy him. Okay, here's the thing. I have not really done formal debates. That would make me like, that set my social anxiety into a spiral. And also, I think I know myself well enough to know that I think I would get actually too emotionally activated to be able to do that well. because I would get so pissed because he's a genuine terrorist sympathizer. Not even like sympathizer. It's like basically just full-blown supporter. And I don't know if I would be able to do that as well as I would like to do that. You know what I mean? But I see the potential. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. That's people saying that's
See, Darko cares about my mental health, and he's saying Hassan is not worth it.
I keep trying to highlight the same comment. Yeah, Darko.
Sometimes Armin we send me like videos and clips of him, and I'm like, "Do you hate me?"
Sorry. All right. Can we clap for the next news?
I don't know.
It's no?
Yeah.
All right, forget it then. God damn it. All right, next news.
12-year-old Pakistani girls battle against forced marriage shocks community. In Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, 25-year-old Intenha Bibi's battle against Gog, a traditional practice of forced marriage, sheds light on a grim cultural reality. Gog allows a man to claim a woman as his wife without her or his parents' consent, a custom that has affected Bibi since she was 12. Despite the legal ban on Gog in 2013, its impact lingers, as evidenced when Mahabad Khan, who claimed Bibi through a Gog, intervened in her engagement to another man. The resulting trauma has had a profound effect on Bibi and her family. Her brother, Sananullah, articulates their plight. Quote, "My sister has become ill and can't leave home and does not talk to her sisters, but the evil man takes pride in it. We live in the medieval dark ages." Sanullah is fighting for Bibi's rights in court, but they face threats and societal pressure in a system slow to enforce its own laws against such practices. This case underlines the challenging fight against entrenched cultural norms and the need for effective legal enforcement. So here is the background. This was an article that covered the case of one specific girl, highlighting the issue at large. And basically, so they live in I believe it's a predominantly Pashto province of Pakistan. And they live in more of a tribal area. And there is a custom called Gog, or it in English letters, it would be GHAG. I have a problem with the gray sound. And basically, this is a practice in these regions, in these tribal regions. Yeah, Dia saying, "I'm glad her family is standing by her. That doesn't always happen." True. And we need to touch on that in a second. Where basically a man can lay claim to a girl that is born. And this is done basically through going to the family's house and making a declaration. Sometimes it's done by like shooting off a rifle in front of the house. And sometimes it's done by putting in a written letter. And basically this can be done completely without the family's consent. So it's not even like an arranged marriage by the parents that's then forced on the girl, like that kind of forced marriage. This is literally just some dude coming in and saying, "Yeah, I have laid claim to your daughter right now, and she's mine now." And so what happened with this one girl in Teha, she had a Gog put on her when she was 12 years old. This man, the article never describes how old he is. This man just came and informed her family that she's mine now. I've put a Gog on her. And, you know, they tried to fight it, blah, blah, blah. And they thought it went away for a really long time. And then so fast forward about 13 years, maybe about 10 years. You know, and Tenha is an adult now, and she found someone that she wants to marry. Her family helped her find a marriage, and she found a perfect marriage that she wanted. And she thought that this Gog had kind of like faded from memory and faded from existence. Well, this man, Mahabat, he shows up again. And he starts intimidating the family. And he starts intimidating the family of the man that she was engaged to willingly. And he goes to them, this family that she was engaged to, and says, I will essentially pay the dowry that you already put down for this marriage. Like I will pay you out of this marriage, essentially. Like, this is mine now. I'm coming back to reclaim what is my right. And so this marriage that she thought that she had, that she was engaged in willingly, that was going to help her escape this Gog, crumbled. And that engagement was broken off because of the intimidation and the threats against them. They had to leave their village. They went to Islamabad, but this still follows them. The Gog still follows them. And they can't escape it. She can't leave the house because one day this man and a couple of his relatives showed up and tried to take her. And they are struggling to have justice for her against the intimidation and the threats and the destruction to her life because of the tribal structure in their area. So they've tried to go to high courts and such. And it's still following. And her brother, who's younger than her, is like trying to go to university to help fight it and stuff. But they've had no justice in this case. And what is crazy to me is that this was only made illegal in Pakistan in 2013. This practice was only made illegal in Pakistan 10 years ago. My mind is blown right now. And apparently...
Where does it come from? This is not from Islam.
I think it's a tribal thing.
This is not even Islamic. You can't do this in Islam. I mean, as much as we hate Islam, and blame Islam for many ills, this is not from Islam. I mean, there's a lot of other crap that is you could blame on Islam, but this, I don't know where this comes from. This is tribal.
For example, in Pakistan, it's impossible for them to pass anti-child marriage laws because because of Islam. That's an example. So that probably makes this situation a little bit worse, given that she was a child when they laid claim to her. But yeah, and most people don't even know that this is illegal.
So why is it not, again, as simple as just calling the police and being like, yeah, what the hell?
Because in a lot of these tribal areas, the authorities help uphold the tribal structure.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. It was really interesting. I watched a movie that came out last year by an Iranian director. I can't remember his name, but the movie is called No Bears. And in it, he goes to an Azari region of Iran, a very rural Azari region that borders Turkey. And in it, he accidentally becomes involved in one of these areas because in this Azari rural village of Iran, they have a custom where when a girl's umbilical cord is tied, she is promised to another family. And he accidentally gets involved in this situation where they think that he took a picture of one of these girls with a different boy that she's not promised to. And it almost becomes an honor killing situation. And it's about this director from Tehran, like from the city, like coming into conflict with these tribal rural norms and what he has to do to try to navigate it. And it reminded me of that kind of a situation where this girl then tries to run away to Turkey with the boy that she actually loves. And well, I'm not going to spoil the movie. You guys should go watch No Bears. It's really good. But a lot of these things really still linger.
So let me be clear. Somebody is saying, wasn't Aisha in a forced child marriage? So we do have, I didn't say Islamically we didn't have forced marriages. Islamically, we do have forced marriages, including forced child marriages. I mean, actually, that's the main way that you have forced marriages is forced child marriages, because with children you don't have informed consent. But it's not Islamically, it's not forced upon the parents. It might be forced upon the child, but the parents have to consent Islamically. So what we saw happening here is that the parents were not consenting, and that is not Islamic. Like when it comes to Aisha, for example, yes, Aisha was forced into a marriage, but her parents approved of it, and that's why it was allowed to happen, because the parents approved. But the parents, Islamically, the parents do have to approve. So that's why it's different. That's why I was like, this is not allowed. I wasn't defending Islam. I'm saying like you don't have forced marriages in Islam. I was just saying it's different.
Yeah. Armin is sitting in the corner like, this is not halal.
Yeah, Mufti Armin does not approve.
Say what you will, but this is haram.
Yeah, okay. By the way, Zaid is actually making a good point. It's saying it takes real effort to be even more disgusting than Islam. That's perfectly put. Thank you, Zaid. Yes, it does take a lot of effort.
Good point. Yeah. Okay, so and Sina is saying, I'm from that area. I can confirm. Yeah, it was really that movie was so intense. Mars is saying, where can I find the film? I don't know. Just look up No Bears by Jafar Panahi. I'm not going to give away the ending. It is intense, and low key. If I was from Iran, it would be extremely emotionally difficult to watch because I cried. Because there's a whole. It's actually semi-autobiographical and almost documentarian. It's a really interesting movie. It is called No Bears. And fun fact for us atheist friends, it has a very interesting non-religious twist. I'm not gonna give it away, but Jafar Panahi does some like very subtle anti-Islamic things. It was very interesting if you know what to look for. We got a bunch of super chats. Okay, so Dana gave us a super chat saying, came in late, appreciate your work. Well, we appreciate you supporting us. Thank you. Random string of characters just gifted an AR membership to someone. Thank you. That's so generous.
Thank you.
If you are one of the people that just received the new membership, go ahead and use our emojis, okay? Our special member emojis, including one of me licking the Quran. And GJ gave us a super chat saying, I just tweeted something to Atheist Republic that I could not super chat. YouTube's censorship has gone insane. Which is weird because I am looking at our notifications and I don't see a mention from you.
Really? Twitter also censored you?
They're like, this GJ guy, we need to put him on lock. And Isaac just became a new member. Thank you, Isaac. Welcome to Satan's Minions. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything from you either. I'm just checking right now.
We just got another super chat. Okay. Sid is saying, why are ex-Muslims not represented in cinema, TV shows? Their struggle and stories of survival will make for very engaging content and highlight their story. One, because I don't think ex-Muslims have reached the point of having widespread recognition of it phenomenon. Like, don't get me wrong, it is more than ever before, but I don't think we're at that tipping point yet, because for example, in American media, we are only barely starting to get to a place where we have Muslim representation in more mainstream media, right? So it's going to take a bit longer to then, one, make audiences interested in the story of Muslims in general, because it has to be something that the population relates to a certain extent to make it marketable, right? And then to push to the next one of like, okay, not only are you familiar with this story, you now have to be familiar with the story of someone who leaves that. I don't know if that makes sense. I think that's kind of what's happening from a, like, is there a desire for it in the market, that kind of thing. And if I'm being very cynical, I think it's also because it's taboo. It is still taboo. It's still very taboo. So I think that's part of it as well. For example, I mean, let us not forget that there was a literal Yazidi genocide survivor of ISIS sex slavery that was not allowed to give a talk to school children, not even school children, I think it was like high schoolers, about her story because they were afraid of possible Islamophobia. A literal survivor of genocide and sex slavery was not allowed to share her story of surviving the greatest adversity that we've known in the past 10 years because they're afraid that her story of surviving hell will then possibly inspire bigotry. So, I mean, Canada is like cucked on a different level. So if we're dealing with that attitude, I think it's going to be a little bit of time before we get ex-Muslim stories.
Oh, by the way, John is disagreeing with you, saying after 9/11, Muslims got all the media sympathy.
I don't know if that's disagreeing with me.
Yeah. No, you were saying that they weren't accepted. It took a while for them to get. Yeah, you're right. It's not a contradiction. You just said it took a while.
Yeah, like only recently we got that show Rami, which is about an American Muslim dude just like navigating. Do I want to go to Friday Jummah prayers or do I want to go to the club? You know, that's like new. I'm talking about fictionalized stories that represent these characters, these experiences. That's different.
Right. So we're not talking about just sympathy. We're talking about, full on focus and
narrative storytelling. And part of the narrative storytelling from a media perspective is there going to be customers that want to buy into this story? We're like barely getting there. I think I'm making sense.
You are.
Thank you. Okay. Ooh. Mars. Oh, thank you, Mars.
Thank you.
Also, Happy New Year's, Mars. I'm sorry I forgot to tell you Merry Christmas text. I've been meaning to reply. And also, I want to call you this week, okay? I'm publicly announcing that I'm going to call you this week, so I'm going to be accountable. Mars, thank you for the super chat, saying my contribution to the suggested Big Sue's show. May you keep the change. Thank you, Mars. Secular Sakai is saying, can AR get in touch with that Yazidi girl to interview her? That's a possibility. I need to go find her on Twitter. That would be step number one.
This is my dream for Atheist Republic. So separate from the shows that we do at this time, Susie will have her own segment where she does 3 things, right? She does do Q&As with you guys, right? She does respond to certain things that she's finding on Instagram or on Twitter that she gets her angry and she wants to respond to in front of you guys. That's the thing. Third, Susie is an amazing researcher. Sometimes she goes on a fact-finding mission, and to see that live on air, that would be amazing. And the fourth one is this. Susie sometimes went and interviewed other people for Atheist Republic, and it was wonderful. So if she has her own segment, maybe sometimes she brings on guests where she just talks to on her segment. So that would be part of it. That's what I'm hoping. We would have our own segment that Susie does, I don't know how many times a week, fully every day at some point. This is my dream. These are my fantasies for Atheist Republic at some point. Yeah.
And one thing before we leave, I just want to say that we have a lot
leave?
of people
we have another news
right now. I know. make sure to like the stream, you guys. It's the 300th episode. Throw us a like, help support the show. Subscribe. If you are here this long and you have not subscribed, what are you doing? Because we are here every week. I am becoming more progressively unhinged. Come watch it every week. Yes, the AR militia is growing. The AR army is growing. We are on the march to 50K. Are you going to join us or not? Okay, but yes, please like the stream, everyone.
Like the stream. No, guys, that seriously helps us. Liking the stream and leaving a comment after the stream is over really significantly helps grow the channel. I know a lot of people have been supporting us with super chats, and that really helps us keep us alive. But if you can support us financially, just like the stream and leave a comment after the stream is over. Those help significantly. So do that.
We got a super chat from Dave saying, I think many ex-Muslims end up aligning with the right wing of their countries, be it in India, the West, and that discredits them in front of Muslims. Well, I mean, they're already discredited in front of Muslims, so I don't think that is the concern so much as they are seemingly discredited against the people that are supposed to be on their side, meaning the left, because the left has traditionally stood for liberal values, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, LGBTQ rights, on and on and on. So it's more that it seemingly discredits them in front of the left who are supposed to be on their side, but continuing to stab them in the back in every way, shape, or form. So I think that's where the so-called discrediting hits the most. Okay. Oh, Winning Offspring said, thank you to whoever made me green. I think you are the person that won the gifted membership from a string of random characters. Yes. Welcome to Satan's Minions. Use your new emojis. Sid Dave, thank you for another super chat saying ex-Muslims should do their own rallies, organize conferences, avoid aligning with right-wing Hindu and Christian causes. At the end, they want good for their home countries and Muslims to reform. I agree. I mean, we do have conferences, some rallies, not like rallies. It's still pretty small in numbers, and also a lot of people don't want to be public. A lot of people are still closeted. A lot of people just want to leave Islam and move on with their lives. A lot of people don't want the heat that comes with being an ex-Muslim activist or more public figure, and I don't blame them. Right? And also, the problem with organizing people that are identified on the basis of leaving something is that it becomes like herding them like cats, because their common denominator is that they left something, not necessarily what they are now. It's an identity shared on something that's negated, not a positive identity. And by positive, I mean the presence of something, not it being bad or good, right? Like a positive and negative claim. So, and I only say that because being involved in the ex-Muslim space for like almost 4 years now, in atheist space in general, the behind the scenes antics is it's tough. Yeah. But welcome to activism. It's all well and good when you're on the outside and you're like, why can't we all just get along? We're here to have the same goals and aspirations. Why can't we just get together and commit and work productively together? And then you're actually like behind the scenes doing the work and you're like, I'm surprised we get anything done. Okay. Oh, we got another super chat. GJ is saying, okay, I retweeted once more.
I'm checking. There's nothing there. I'm sorry. I don't know what the hell. Yeah.
Oh, and Sakai is saying, Atheist Republic, do you guys need additional YouTube moderators? Well, Sakai, I will definitely make you a moderator, like literally right now.
Yeah, we don't need any moderators, but you should be an honorary moderator anyways.
Not even honorary.
Right now the chat is... Oh yeah, just
my guy is
we
committed.
actually never... we're not very trigger happy with our moderation. We just let it. We just We just let people. Unless somebody spams a lot, we just usually time out them.
Okay,
it takes
let's
a
see.
lot for somebody to get banned.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Sakai, now say something again. Let's see if it shows up. Sakai, yeah! Ooh! Sakai now has that sexy blue hammer next to his name. That's right.
Not a hammer.
That's right. That's right. Welcome to the team.
Oh yes, so Sakai saying thanks. I'll be sure to be liberal. I just noticed spamming as well. Yes. Also, D saying Armin is rarely a fan of banning anybody. Exactly. Unless they get on Susie's nerves and they make her upset, that's the only time. That's my red line. If somebody makes Susie upset,
yo, that's a quick way to get nuked.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we got so many super chats. Crap. we have another segment, but screw that. Okay.
No, thank you guys. This is great.
Thank you.
All right.
Do most ex-Muslims become atheists? I have seen many of them try to assimilate in the local culture of the land, like in the West or in India.
My understanding is that most of them become atheists, but
I disagree.
But that's my.
I disagree, because if we're including the mass exodus of people leaving Islam in Iran, most of them have left Islam, but they're still vaguely spiritual.
Sorry. I shouldn't say atheists. Non-religious. They become non-religious. You're right. Most of them become nuns. They don't become Christians. They don't become Zoroastrians. They don't become atheists. They become God believers with no religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. So no religion, but still believing in God. You're right. That's the number one.
Yeah. They leave Islam, but they don't reject spirituality.
And they don't go to another religion. A lot of them keep God, but outside of any religion. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think it's, I don't know. Okay. So then we have Decan, I'm going to call him, gave us a super chat saying top 3 tier list from majority Muslim nations on being cool and secular, top 3 most uncool. I think Albania is technically the most secularized Muslim nation. I really don't know that much about Albania, so I can't say how cool it really is, but that's just off the top of my head.
I mean, Morocco and Tunisia come into mind.
You said majority Muslim, so we can't include Iran.
Yes. Well, yes. Tajikistan is having a huge anti-Islam direction within its policies right now. It's crazy.
Really? We should talk about that on the show. That'd be so interesting.
Yeah, they're like making a point that Islam is not their culture, and they're yeah.
Oh, girl. I want to go to Tajikistan mainly because I want to learn Farsi, but if I learn Farsi, I can't go to Iran, so Tajikistan is the closest I'm going to get.
Is that?
Okay. And then top 3.
I might be thinking
Uzbekistan.
No. It is Tajikistan, isn't it?
Kazakhstan?
I might be thinking. Yeah, I'll take that back. I have to check that. One of these Istans. I think it's Tajikistan, but I'll check that back. I will look into that because I know it's a significant push against Islamism. I don't know if it's Tajikistan or I'm thinking somewhere else, but I will look into it.
Okay, but top 3 most uncool. Number 1,
definitely Pakistan. Pakistan, definitely.
Okay, what about number 2?
Are we talking people or government?
Well, cool defined as cool and secular.
Oh,
so
cool
however
and
you want to
secular.
define that.
So the opposite, I mean, then secular would be Iran then, unfortunately, even though the people are secular, the government
But
is
it's
not
Muslim
secular.
majority. And Iran is not Muslim majority.
I would say Yemen
Mm.
with the Houthis right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Yemen.
Mm-hmm.
The most uncool, the 3 most uncool.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Actually.
What about Somalia?
Ooh, I mean,
Somalia
is that even a state? Is that even a state?
It has borders.
No, I'm kidding. That's a joke because the fact that it's a failed state.
I know. Yeah. Okay, next super chat is by Dana. Dana is saying, I bought a super chat and don't see it. Nothing to say except I appreciate the channel. Oh, wait. Did we not read out your super chat earlier? I thought we did.
We did.
Unless you sent another one. Okay, well, thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. Erican, thank you, Erican, saying, feel free to make me a VIP. Well, Erican, you will always be a VIP in our heart.
Yeah.
I'm being cheesy. GJ is thank you, GJ, saying Armin and some are neither theist nor atheist.
That's not
in terms of
that's not possible.
And I mean, do people consider deist to be its own thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, you either so you either believe in a god, or you don't. Okay, so it's impossible to not be a theist or an atheist. You have to be one of those. There's no way not to be either one of those, because they not believing in a god or believing in God covers all possible options. So there's no way you can't be none of those two things. You have to be one of those things.
Excuse me, sir. I've been told that binaries are inherently oppressive, and you need to deconstruct this mindset right now because it's very hierarchical, and it's problematic, and you need to check yourself. So Winning Osprey gave us a super chat. Thank you, saying Bessa, Pledge of Honor, is an Albanian cultural precept, usually translated as faith or oath, that means to keep the promise or word of honor. Interesting. Okay, you guys, well, you just learned a fact about Albania.
So I was right about Tajikistan in a way. So I was right. I just double checked.
And we just got another super chat from Sid Dave saying there are ex-Muslim adult film stars as well. I guess I can say porn. I was already saying porn earlier. There are ex-Muslim porn stars as well. Maybe those are some people Atheist Republic should invite from Islam to the adult industry, hijab to nothing. I did see this girl who was ex-Muslim who would wear the hijab in her OnlyFans. That shit was spicy. It was controversial. I did not see her actual OnlyFans, for the record. The only problem is we can't really do that kind of thing because of our nonprofit status. We can't promote people's work that's for profit. And I think that would very easily cross that line. So Deacon gave us another super chat. Thank you, saying loving Susanna's the woke girl. Well, it takes one to know one. And I've lived through the fire. I've seen things. Deacon said, I can change her. Oh, honey, please go to therapy. You don't want to help these women. Someone being, I can fix her.
All right. Let's go to the next news. Is it clappable finally?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Next news.
Germany bans Turkish-trained imams and sets an integration plan. This is very interesting. Turkey is taking a significant step towards integrating its Muslim population by announcing the phasing out of Turkish-trained imams and establishing a training program for imams on German soil. This decision by the German Interior Ministry addresses tensions between Germany and Turkey over the influence of Turkish-trained clerics. The initiative will replace approximately 1,000 imams employed by the Turkish Diyanet, with 100 annually trained in Germany, starting in the town of Dahlem. German Interior Minister Nancy Faeser emphasized the importance of this shift. Quote, "We need religious leaders who speak our language, know our country, and stand for our values." This move is also a response to concerns about the Turkish Islamic umbrella group DITIB, which manages 900 out of the 2,500 mosque communities in Germany and has faced accusations of being an extended arm of the Turkish government. The plan, initially suggested by former Chancellor Angela Merkel in 2018, aims to foster a more independent and integrated Muslim community in Germany. So, our lovely editor D, everyone say thank you, D, in the live chat for being one of our best volunteers, sent me a lot of background information on this as well, because she is a great researcher and helps the show a lot. Kisses D. And so this is actually something that Germany has been working towards for, like, I think at least 10 years now. But now they've gone the step of actually saying we are no longer accepting foreign trained Turkish imams. And part of it is that they don't want people basically preaching in Turkish and Arabic, and also because they want to service the communities that are like maybe third generation Muslims in Germany who actually prefer to have their sermons in their native language or their first language, which is actually German, even though maybe ethnically they're Turkish. And so partially it's to service that community, and then partially it's also to stop the import of foreign trained imams that there is, some credible evidence to suggest is highly influenced by the Turkish government. And so they've just finally taken the step to just call it that and just, lay down the law in that direction. I think this is a very interesting step. And there's been lots of issues with trying to implement German training for imams. Like there was this incident where they were, a lot of the universities in Germany have Christian roots. And so there's controversy about training imams in traditionally Christian institutions. And then there was also an incident where there was a guy who was a professor who was supposed to be implementing these trainings. This was a few years ago. And he was a German convert to Islam, and he was criticizing or questioning the historicity of Muhammad and if the Quran is actually directly from God, and people lost their mind.
Wow.
Armin's face. So that program didn't go so well. But it's really interesting to see them kind of restart this kind of program again. But Armin, what's your initial gut reaction to this? How do you think this is going to go down?
So when I went to Germany, I did notice that I don't know if it's a majority, but a huge portion of the mosques there are Turkish, focused on Turkey, and it's understood that it's a method by Turkey to use them as a leverage, like the fact that they're funded and they send their people to these mosques. And I don't know if people understand how different mosques from different countries are a political tool as a way to have influence on the demographics and the politics, and have their own, supporters within the country to be able to have effects on elections and the way the direction of the politics um, goes. So what you have to look at mosques is that they're kind of like a lobby group. That's how mosques operate, depending on what country is and which version of Islam is it being what's their brand and who they're being supported, right? So some European countries have their mosques mostly funded by Turkey. Some of them have that by Iran. Some of them have it by Saudi Arabia. I think in Italy it's mostly Saudi Arabia, for example. And some, this is, for the same. By the way, it's interesting because Qatar hasn't gone the Islamic route when it comes to trying to control, manipulate different countries' politics. Qatar has gone the funding of woke ideology for some reason. That's right. So Qatar uses wokeism as a way to manipulate the politics of different Western countries, either European or North American. Turkey uses Turkish mosques. Saudi Arabia, I mean, not Saudis themselves, but the Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia use their madrasas and their mosques to influence politics of different countries. Iran uses not just mosques, but also Husseinias or, Ashura rituals and processions, demonstrations, right? And they have been very clever with that, because technically sometimes they brand it not even as a religious procession, but like a freedom, like it's a very sneaky way to do.
And then you look at the flyer and it's like talking about Imam Hussein, and you're like, wait a minute.
as a freedom fighter, right? Yeah. But again, this is political leverage. So, and they have major influence. Like you could see, kind of like the Khalistanis in Canada, right? But also, if you look at in Canada, in Vancouver, you see Shia, processions in many European countries in huge numbers, right? And you see that in Canada a lot too. These people, the fact that they're together, the fact that they're at events together, this is a very, very powerful political leverage. Like these people vote, these people get directions, they get indirect directions from the country. They don't even notice that they're getting directions from the country. Like you could be a Pakistani Shia living in Vancouver and not knowing that you are officially being commanded to be brainwashed in a certain way from Tehran, and you're not even Iranian. Right? You're just Shia, right? You don't know that's the reason why the imam at the ceremony is advocating for a certain thing, and you are being influenced by it, is because these are direct lines coming from Tehran, right? And again, Turkish mosque coming from Turkey. But it's a very, very powerful tool, and I'm glad Germany is taking it seriously, because Canada didn't take it seriously when it comes to Khalistanis, and now their politics is, they can't even the politics is completely corrupted with them, right? So again, it is a powerful tool, and it works, and that's why people use it, because it works. Yeah.
Before we go to the super chats, Armin, can you bring up what I put in the private chat? Because this made me remember this, and I just want to, because the idea is, okay, let's bring, because France had France had an initiative to try to create a French Islam, and I see this not completely, but somewhat as a similar push, because it's about, these people need to represent our values. And it reminded me, we need to provide Islamic teaching in the German language to our German-speaking Muslims. So it reminded me of this tweet. And the caption is, Germanic Islam, the combination the world isn't ready for yet. Okay, so the German government wants to bring the Germanic Islam to the people. Well, let's get a taste of what that sounds like, Armin.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I think it's muted. I think the screen is
now
muted.
it's not.
Okay, wait. Cool.
Not
Oh my
anymore.
god, this is my favorite thing ever.
Wir können keine Blockhütte im Wald bauen, wo wir Namen draufschreiben und dann warten, bis irgendeiner sich verläuft. Wir können keine Blockhütte im Wald bauen, wo wir Namen draufschreiben und dann warten, bis irgendeiner sich...
Oh dear God. This is not a good combination. The German language and Islam is a horrible combination.
Again, Germanic Islam, the combination the world is not ready for yet.
Oh my God. It's pretty
If you scroll
scary.
down in the tweet, they actually have a longer version that's translated.
Oh, really? Yeah,
right here.
This one?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, I never.
Wait, don't pause to read it yet. Just play it all the way through, because this is the longer version that's better.
Yeah.
Wir müssen die Dauer auf die Straße bringen. Wir müssen die Dauer zu den Menschen bringen. Wir müssen die Dauer in jedes Haus bringen. Wir müssen die Dauer überall hinbringen. Wir können keine Blockhütte im Wald bauen, wo wir Dauer draufschreiben und dann warten, bis irgendeiner sich verläuft.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait.
Good stuff.
Okay, so that sorry, my Bluetooth just connected to my headphones, so I was hearing my own voice. But so for the people who don't know, dawa means like preaching Islam, like inviting people to Islam, right? Should I play it and read it again?
I mean, I don't know. Really, the point is just
why don't I hear you anymore? Hold on. I don't have your audio. Do other people have your audio? Let me just fix this. Say something.
Die Dauer in der Hausspringer.
There we go. Now I have your audio. All right, I think people got the point.
Yeah, basically, he's just yelling about bringing dawa to the streets and the houses.
Yeah. All right, so we have. Actually, before we go to the super chats, there was this comment. Drusilla was saying Saudi Arabia has used tons of money on sports. Yeah, basically, that's a good comparison, because if but by the way, Saudi ideology, the Saudis are different from the Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia. So exactly what Saudis are doing with sports, the Wahhabis were doing with their mosques and their madrasas, right? So, but Saudis have gone secular, so they have using other methods rather than exporting Islam to try to have that political influence. And that's exactly it. Like the way Saudis are using sports, this is exactly how these mosques and other funding of these madrasas work. All right, let's do the super chats.
Yes, Sakai is saying, on ex-Muslim deists, I think people need to know that Allah is just Arabic for God. So some might say they might believe in Allah but are not Muslim. That's a very good point.
Well, actually, I don't know. No, most people who believe Allah is not just the Arabic for God. That's not true. A lot of people say that. It's not true. Allah is a name. Allah is the name of a god. It's kind of like Allah is more like Zeus than God. So Zeus doesn't mean God. Zeus is the name of a god. So it's not true. So I think the better word, the Arabic word for God kind of is like Rab, maybe. Rab would be God. But Allah is, a lot of people, Allah is more like Yahweh, not God.
But like Arab Christians, don't the word that they use to pray to the Christian God, isn't it Allah?
Not necessarily, not always. I went to an Arab church in Vancouver, and they made it. It was very important for them to not refer to God as Allah, because they thought that's Islamic. They said Rab. They use Rab, the Arabic word Rab.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. But again, some people might see it. I'm not saying it's not the word for God. Some people, depends on how people look at it. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes, there are Arab Christians who say, no, Allah is not our God. Jesus is our God. Allah. They don't say Jesus is Allah. I mean, how many Arabs go and say Jesus is Allah? They don't say that because they believe in Jesus as God. Would they say Jesus is Allah? Would they say Jesus is God? No. So no, Allah does not mean God. Allah is a name of a God.
Mm. Okay, GJ gave me another super chat saying, "You still don't get me, do you? I'm purely agnostic. I'm not convinced either way, so that makes me neither theist nor atheist. And this goes for so many people in Holland alone."
Well, that's not.
How many
you don't
times do we have
understand.
to explain the quadrant? These are not mutually exclusive.
Not mutually exclusive. So GJ doesn't understand. I already explained this. GJ, it's okay if you don't want to use the label atheist, but you are an atheist. An atheist is not somebody who says there's no God. An atheist is somebody who doesn't believe in God. So based on the definition of atheist, you cannot change the definition of words, even if you don't like the definition. Based on the common usage of the word atheist, based on how it's been defined outside of academia, actually, that's how I should say it. Based on the definition of atheist outside of academia, you are an atheist. So again, you keep fighting me over this, but you can't change what words mean. If you don't believe in God, you are an atheist. So you are, GJ.
It's about how firm your not knowing or knowing is. Secular Sakai saying, "Oh, this is a question for you, Armin. Did the members only video answering our questions already air? Those posted about 1 or 2 weeks ago?"
No, not yet. I will get on it. Okay.
Yes. Gnome is saying Qatar is using wokeism and Bugattis. Bugatti. After Andrew Tate, I can only say Bugatti like one way. And GJ also said, "But anyway, before I say goodbye, guess what I drank last night to celebrate New Year? A special beer called the Duvel 666. Duvel, which is Dutch for devil, and the monk brew is 6.66% alcohol." Okay, well there you go.
I like that.
Sid Dave gave us another super chat, being very generous today. Thank you, Dave. Saying, "I think they should appoint queers for Palestine or Instagram reverts to teach in mosques. I am all for that. They will teach about Allah's non-binary nature. That would be hilarious." I would pay money to watch that. I would pay money to watch that. That would be a great reality TV show. And Asian American celebrating his membership for 2 years. 2 years a member. Everyone lay down and respect the name. Saying happy 2024th year of your ex-lord. Thank you very much, Gaijin. That's a very respectful
ex-lord.
Yeah, exactly. Year of our Lord. Year of my ex-lord. How respectful. Thank you, Gaijin. And thank you to everyone that was here for our 300th episode. That wraps up first show of the year and 300 episodes. I had a ton of fun today. Thank you, everyone, for making this show so much fun, for the community that you provide and bring to us every week, for all the support you give us. It's amazing. Do you have any sentimental thoughts to share on our 300th episode?
I'm more interested in responding to this super chat because it's sorry, I'm not. I'm so bad at being sentimental. I'm nerding. I was nerding out thinking about whether this makes sense or not.
Go for it.
Sorry. So Rachel, so this is why you're the CEO. You're better with the sentimental stuff. Rachel saying, "I'm an agnostic." Yeah. we were having a conversation about this before we went live. She said, "I don't have emotional IQ." I guess you're right. Okay.
No, because
Rachel is
Armin
saying,
was talking about how in the future, what is going to be a very highly prized commodity is essentially emotional IQ. Those, like the people with that are gonna be successful. And I said, well, what are you gonna do?
okay. Ouch. Okay.
Okay. I apologize. Continue.
So Razel is saying, I'm an agnostic theist. I don't believe it is possible to know either way, but I choose to believe whatever gives me comfort. This is very interesting because the whole Gnostic, agnostic theist didn't make sense to me, because I understand that agnostic atheists exist and Gnostic atheists exist. But I was like, when people are theists, they just believed, like, we only have Gnostic theists. But now that I'm reading Razel's comment, it kind of makes sense. I mean, you're a rare kind, Razel, right? We don't have that many agnostic theists. But what you're describing to me is technically agnostic theism, which is you're using the definition accurately, but you guys are very, very rare. So that's interesting. Never met one. This is my first time I'm meeting an agnostic theist.
I love this comment. Unicorn is saying thank you and happy New Year, Susan, Armin, and everyone. Yes, happy New Year to everyone. Space Elliot is saying see you for the 400th. That's right. We're staying strong. Are you gonna stick around for the 400th? You better. So freaking subscribe, like and subscribe. And Sid Dave also says to super chat saying, Susanna, do you still maintain any Christian traditions? I guess
Christmas.
Christmas. If that's true, then Armin maintains Christian traditions.
What about Easter?
Sometimes I go get brunch with my family on Easter. If we're having dinner with my extended family and someone joins hands and does a prayer, like I'll join hands. I'm not gonna like literally pray with them, but like I'm not gonna cause an issue at dinner. I don't know if that counts. I guess that's it.
Yeah. Would you? I would do the same thing, but I would puke a little bit inside my mouth when I do that. If I do that,
but
I would not show it. Like if I'm respectfully like I would. It just, I don't know. I would have an internal allergic reaction to it without showing it. I would try to be polite and respectful, but it would be difficult.
Yeah. It's for me, it's just like a normal part of being in my family. So, whatever. Nasreen, give us another super chat saying, I love you and your smile, Susanna. Oh.
Yeah.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Okay, I love the way you use Persian language. It's cute. All right, we need to head out. We're overtime.
Yes, but it's 300th episode. It's okay. It's number 300. We had extra fun today.
We're overtime because of all the super chats that we got. So it's a good reason to be overtime.
It's a good problem to have. Thank you, guys.
It's a good problem. Yeah, guys. Yeah, seriously, we did because of you guys. We will never worry about being demonetized ever again. So thank you for that.
I had such a fun time today.
Me too. All right, guys, we're gonna head out again. Happy New Year to everyone who was here.
Stay safe, everyone.
Everybody. Yes, and guys, do not leave. Do not leave without liking the stream. Seriously, it doesn't take any effort. It takes 1 second, half a second tops, and it really helps us out. And we spend more than 2 hours for you guys, so you might as well spend less than 2 seconds liking the stream and helping our channel grow. So please go ahead and do that right now. Thanks, guys. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.